blessed afternoon to everyone. This afternoon's event marks as one of the most awaited special events not only for our dear students but also to our proud and supportive parents. To our ever dynamic OIC, Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Roberto B. Briones, our school head, Mrs. Sonia S. Tayag, to our highly competent and deeply motivated members of Kabanbanan Elementary School faculty, to the proud and loving parents, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. Welcome to the virtual Moving Up and Recognition Day 2021. To formally start our program, may I request everyone to please stand for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and please remain standing for the opening prayer.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
For confirmation and a message, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you our school's Division Superintendent, Dr. Loida N. Nidea.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Schools Division Superintendent of DepEd Camarines Sur, and upon the certification of your school head that you have satisfactorily completed the requirements for a basic education of the Department of Education, I now confirm your completion this July 2021. Congratulations. On behalf of the other officials of SDO Camarines Sur, I take joy and pride in congratulating you all. completers of school year 2020-2021, as well as your school head, teacher advisors, parents and guardians for this very significant milestone in your lives. I am confident that our beloved teachers, with the support of the non-teaching personnel and stakeholders, have equipped you with all the knowledge, skills, and attitudes essential in addressing challenges in this time of pandemic. This year's theme, kalidad ng edukasyon lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya, is strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic, focuses on adapting different approaches and strategies for delivering quality education to all Filipino learners. I'm sure the school implemented different learning modalities, modular, hard and soft copies, radio and TV-based lessons, online learning, either synchronous or asynchronous, making blended learning really an alternative way of making education continue. I commend the synergy between and among the school and its stakeholders, the efforts and resources these champions put in the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, all aim at developing you who will contribute meaningfully to building the nation. Indeed, this is a true manifestation of DepEd's Sulong Edukalidad KITE, K-12 Curriculum Review and Update, improvement of learning environment, teachers' upskilling and reskilling, engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration. May their meaningful engagements truly motivate us to help realize our vision and mission to provide all Filipino learners quality, relevant, inclusive, and liberating education, thus helping them achieve their bright future. I thank them for all the opportunities given you. Their support, sacrifice, and aspirations paid off today, your completion ceremonies. Completers, even if we are experiencing the new and next normal brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, I like you to succeed and be part of the mission to improve the Philippines in whatever role you will assume and wherever you will be destined to be. Congratulations and God bless us all.
Balion Froy Laron. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Balion Felipe Poche. Cano Jimwell Mobles. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cano Domingo Larinoco. Casano James Azur. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Casano Roger Rios. Erasca Gabriel Olvinar. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Erasca Joselito Lianza. Esteve John Lester Amotan. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Esteve Julie Pardines. Matute Dave Tercenio. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Matute Ruel Dave Valoria. Latilia Mark James Lainesa. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Latilia Marlon Espiritu. Sandrino Trinvanjo Ibanez, Achiever. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sandrino Joel Lastrolio. Sanfuego Justin Mangubat. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfuego Solsticio Esquilio Jr. Arroyo Camille Soldanes, Achiever. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Arroyo Marlon Maomay. Sereno Marian Sereno, Achiever. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sereno Felix Esuelo. Cruzos April Kate Rafiles, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cruzos Junrel Edejero. Delatado Kristen May Gagliarte, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Delatado John Fernolas. Tuesta Janelle Sanfuego, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Estuesta Jesse Emperador. Genesiran Maria Aliana Jean Sanfuego, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Genesiran Alan Padua. Lopena Natalie Martires, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Lopena Noel Borja. Murillo Danica Azuela, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Murillo Domingo Longaras. Narvaez Jillian Rabuza, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Narvaez Leo Marlon Gomez. Orpia Annalisa Lorca, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Orpia Zandro Fernandez. Sanfuego Crizel Bernaldez, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfuego Christian Keith Camacho. Sanfuego Miriam Albania, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfuego William Elcano. Sarasti Juliana Sofia Kendra Sanfuego, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sarasti Lolito Belmonte. Talagtag Chloe Gotoman, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Talagtag Erwin Acabado. Trinidad Sia Andrea Brizuela, Achievers. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Trinidad Ike Paghunasan. Mrs. Analita M. Lopena, Kindergarten Advisor. This remarkable event will not be completed without hearing a message from our very own OIC Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Roberto B. Briones.
warmest greetings to all. For in behalf of the Balatan District, as your OIC Public Schools District Supervisor, may I convey my heartfelt congratulations to the school heads, the teaching and the non-teaching staff, to the proud parents or guardians, their students, and to all the stakeholders as well. As we conducted this year's first virtual graduation exercises with the theme, Strengthening the Quality of Education amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic brought a sudden change in the educational system of the country. People's lifestyle are affected. Movement of people are likewise being limited. Part of it is compulsory wearing of face masks and social distancing is required. At the same time, mass gatherings are prohibited. More than a year now when we don't have face-to-face classes, and only time will tell when it will be resumed. Things really are all in the new normal. Friends in education, bear in mind the Department of Education and the government are doing its best to at least our educational system is at work, ensuring that its goals, programs, and projects are in proper perspective. As we move forward, I hope each one of us are all in tip-top situations. Let's all fight this pandemic and keep us all safe. Again, my unceasing prayers and stand in solidarity. Thank you so much and more power.
Cuadrante Rebecca May Murillo. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cuadrante Rico Brillo. Oliva Erbigene Sandrino. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Oliva Ernesto Ellen Jr. Julianda Dave Abraham. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Julianda Edmundo de los Santos. Matute Rihanna Chelsea Tersenio. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ruel Dave Viloria. Advincula Megan Acaton. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Advincula Gilbert Sandrino. Mrs. Christy Bitao Opriasa, Grade 1 Advisor. Sarasti Jana Sanfuego. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sarasti Lolito Belmonte. Balaton Jasaros Roman. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Balaton Ronnie Owares. Martires Mark Edric Basagre. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Martires Lolito Pedro. Moreno Natalie Jade Advencula. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Moreno Jonathan Dave Deang. Sanfuego Gian Cadiao. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfuego Diosdado Maomay. Villarisco Queen Rose Noel with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Villarisco Oliver Alhambra. Pinote Kristen Joy Silvano with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Pinote Romel Villantes. Matute Raby Jane Tersenio with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Matute Ruel de Valoria. Balaton Chanel Raro with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Balaton Nelson Lumapag. Mrs. Honey V. Nunez, Grade 2 Advisor. Assis J. Lumay Calvelo with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Assis Jocorante Platilla. De Los Santos Angela Noel with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. De Los Santos Edgar Abarera. At Chan Shane Idel Limbag with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Achan Arnel Dagame. Annie Lizelle Joy Raro with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Annie Romeo Fardines. Leanda Edmundo Jr. Abraham with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Julianda Edmundo de los Santos. Mrs. Maria Rio Ragrahio, Grade 3 Advisor. Albis Alia Nicole Advencola with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albis Alan Fornola. Sereno Micaela Nuel with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sereno Romnick Bongayan. Talingasyon Trexie Vasquez with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kalingasyon Ellie Baluete. Gotoman Laika Daluana with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gotoman Lupe Balaton Jr. Sanfergo R.J. Cadillo with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfergo Diosdado Maomay. Sasotona R.V. Matthews Casano with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sasotona Roderick San Jose. Tolentino Julian Pardines with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Tolentino Joel Morillo. Pardines Grace Bulcan with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Pardines Nestor Azur. Mrs. Ines L. Brazan, Grade 4 Advisor. And the Sabal Azonay Vargas with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Mendezabal Pedro Gaan. Casano Germaline Cultivo, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Casano Roderick Bagapuro. Brizuela William Jr. Rule, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Brizuela William Sarino. Casano Riza Bema Iwas, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Casano Cornelio de los Santos Jr. Erasga Shaina May Arguelles, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Erasga Julio Llanza. Galiarte Tasani Platilla, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Baral Leonardo Narvaez Jr. Hardiness Mary Rose Villadeliz, with honors. Parents, Mrs. Pardines Miriam Villadeliz. Mrs. Judith B. Cambiado, Grade 5 Advisor.
Binabati ko ang mga magulang ng magsisipagtapos ngayong taon ng pandemya 2020-2021. Labis-labis ang aking pasasalamat sapagkat sa kabila ng tinatamasa nating krisis, nandyan pa rin kayo na nakaagapay at sumusuporta sa aming adhikain na mapalawak ang kaalaman o karunungan ng inyong mga anak. Andyan pa rin kayo na nagsasakripisyo para sa pagkatuto at mapalawak ang kanilang potensyal. Ang temang kalidad ng edukasyon lalong patatatagin sa gitna ng pandemya ay higit na maipapakita sa pamamagitan ng inyong suporta. Naway sa susunod na mga taon, makamit ng inyong mga anak ang kanilang mga pangarap na magkaroon ng matatag at matagumpay na buhay. Ipagpapatuloy natin ang pagkatuto sa tulong ng bawat isa. Sa muli, ang aking pagbati.
There comes a time when we hear you sad and call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on pretending day by day that someone, somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, truth. In your love's all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's our choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Send in your heart, so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. There's God who's showing us by turning stone to bread, and so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's our choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. When you're down and out, there seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's nowhere we can fall. Let us realize that a change can only come when we stand together as one. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's our choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.